Discipline is everything. People talk a lot about talent, about being gifted, about natural ability. But let me tell you something from my own experience. Talent without discipline is wasted potential. I have seen so many young players with amazing skill, incredible speed, and unbelievable creativity, but they never made it to the top because they didn't have the discipline to match their talent. Discipline is the engine that keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears. And believe me, motivation comes and goes. Some days you wake up and feel strong, excited, ready to conquer the world. Other days you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to train, you don't want to put in the effort. On those days, it's not motivation that gets you moving, it's discipline. When I was a young boy in Madeira, I was not the strongest, I was not the tallest. I had a dream, yes, but dreams are easy. Everybody dreams. The difference is what you are willing to do to make that dream real. Discipline meant leaving my family at a young age, going to Lisbon, living away from home, training harder than anyone else. Discipline meant saying no to things that other kids my age enjoyed, because I knew what I wanted. It wasn't about sacrifice for me, it was about priorities. My priority was football, and discipline was the only way to honor that priority every single day. Discipline is not just about working when people are watching. That is the easy part. Anyone can run fast or train hard when the coach is there, when the cameras are on. The real test of discipline is what you do when no one sees you. Do you rest properly? Do you eat the right food? Do you stretch? Do you recover? Do you train your mind? Discipline is waking up early to train before everyone else. It's staying after the session to practice free kicks or penalties. It's going to bed early while your friends are out enjoying themselves. That's the difference between good and great. And discipline is not only physical, it's mental. It is easy to lose focus. There are distractions everywhere: money, fame, critics, compliments. If you don't have discipline in your mind, you can lose yourself very quickly. Many times I have been criticized. People say I am arrogant. They say I am too focused on myself. They say I cannot do this or that. Without discipline, those words can break you. They can distract you from your path. But discipline in the mind means you control what you focus on. I never let the noise outside affect the work I put in. When you are disciplined, you listen to your inner voice, not the crowd. Discipline also means consistency. You cannot train hard for 1 week and then relax for 2 weeks. Success doesn't work like that. You cannot eat healthy for 1 day and then eat badly for the rest of the week and expect results. Every day counts, every choice counts. I remind myself of this all the time. The small details make the big difference. Maybe eating the right meal doesn't seem like a big thing. Maybe doing an extra 20 minutes in the gym doesn't seem like it will change much. But over months and years, these details decide whether you are average or whether you are the best. Discipline is doing those little things again and again until they become part of who you are. There were times when I was exhausted, when I had played many games, traveled across continents, and my body just wanted to stop. But discipline means you still show up, you still give everything. There were times when I was injured and the recovery was painful, slow, frustrating. Discipline is what makes you go through the boring routines, the endless treatments, the hours of physiotherapy. Discipline is not glamorous, it is not exciting, it is repetitive, demanding, sometimes even boring. But it is the foundation of everything. People ask me how I stay at the top for so long. The answer is simple: discipline. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's not just talent. It is discipline year after year, season after season. The discipline to train when it hurts, to recover when you want to keep going, to rest when you feel restless, to keep learning even when you think you already know enough. It is the discipline to live like a champion before you ever become one. In everyday life, discipline works the same way. Maybe your goal is not to score goals in front of millions. Maybe your goal is to succeed in school, to build a career, to take care of your family, to improve your health. Whatever it is, discipline is the key. If you want to be successful in your studies, you need the discipline to sit down and read when others are playing games. If you want to be fit, you need the discipline to go to the gym when you feel tired, If you want to save money, you need the discipline to resist buying things you don't need. Discipline is the bridge between what you want and what you achieve. Sometimes people think discipline means suffering, but it's not true. Discipline is freedom. When you are disciplined, you are free from regret because you know you gave everything. You are free from fear because you are prepared. You are free from weakness because you trained your strength. Discipline may feel heavy in the moment, but in the end, it makes life lighter because you carry less disappointment and fewer missed opportunities. I know many people are waiting for shortcuts, secrets, or special formulas to become successful, but the truth is there are no shortcuts. There is only discipline. Wake up, train, repeat. Wake up, work, repeat. It's not easy, but it works. And the beautiful thing about discipline is that it's available to everyone. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to be the fastest or the strongest, but you can be the most disciplined, and that will take you further than talent alone ever could. Every champion you see in any field, not just in football, has discipline at the core of their success. Artists, entrepreneurs, doctors, teachers, athletes, all of them succeed because of discipline. They wake up and do the work, whether they feel like it or not. They focus on their goal and cut out distractions. They make choices today that prepare them for tomorrow. That is discipline. So when I say discipline is everything, I mean it. It is the secret behind every goal I scored, every trophy I lifted, every record I broke. And it can be the secret behind your success too. Whatever dream you have, big or small, discipline is the key to unlock it. Train your mind, train your body, train your habits, and let discipline guide you. One day you will look back and realize that every sacrifice, every hard choice, every disciplined action was worth it, because that is how champions are made. Believing when others doubt is one of the hardest yet most transformative choices a person can make. It is easy to believe when everyone else supports you, when the world claps for you, when your ideas are widely accepted and appreciated. But true conviction is tested when doubt surrounds you, when people question your ability, dismiss your dreams, or discourage your ambitions. That is the moment where belief matters most, because belief is not just a mental act. It is the fuel that pushes human beings to achieve things once thought impossible. The greatest innovators, leaders, athletes, scientists, and creators in history have all faced doubt from others at some point. Yet what separated them from the rest was their capacity to hold on to their inner vision when the external world did not yet see it. When others doubt you, their skepticism can easily seep into your heart and mind. Doubt is contagious, and hearing repeatedly that something cannot be done often convinces us that maybe it is true. That is why believing in yourself during those moments requires courage. Courage is not the absence of fear or uncertainty. It is the decision to continue forward despite them. Belief in the face of doubt is an act of courage, because it means you are willing to stand apart from the crowd, to risk failure, to appear foolish in the eyes of others, and still pursue what feels meaningful to you. That inner strength is not something you are born with. It is built over time through persistence, self-awareness, and the willingness to trust your instincts. Many of the world's greatest breakthroughs came from individuals who refused to let the doubt of others define them. When the Wright brothers first spoke about building a flying machine, most people laughed at the idea. They were told humans were not meant to fly, that such a dream was ridiculous, and that they were wasting their time. Yet because they believed when others doubted, the impossible became possible. Similarly, when Thomas Edison was working on inventing the electric light bulb, he faced constant criticism and failure. He tried thousands of times, failing repeatedly, but he never let the doubts of others, or his own temporary setbacks, destroy his belief. That perseverance gave the world one of its most important inventions. These examples remind us that doubt from others is often a reflection of their own limitations, not a prediction of your potential. Believing when others doubt does not mean being blind to reality or refusing to listen to constructive feedback. It means being able to differentiate between valid concerns and baseless discouragement. Critics may point out weaknesses in your plan or highlight obstacles, but belief transforms criticism into motivation. Instead of giving up, belief allows you to ask, "How can I overcome this? How can I improve? How can I prove not to others, but to myself, that my vision is worth pursuing?" That mindset keeps you moving forward even when the path is unclear. On a personal level, believing in yourself when others doubt helps you develop resilience. Life is full of challenges, and every meaningful goal comes with obstacles. When you face these challenges without the support of others, you learn how to rely on your inner resources. This strengthens your character, teaching you patience, discipline, and determination. Even if you fail along the way, the act of persisting builds a foundation that makes you stronger for future endeavors. Belief in yourself creates a sense of self-trust, and that trust is priceless because it cannot be shaken by the shifting opinions of other people. At times, doubt from others can serve as a hidden blessing. It forces you to clarify why you believe in what you are doing. When people question you, it can make you reflect more deeply on your vision. Do you truly want this? Do you truly believe in it? Are you willing to endure the long journey that comes with pursuing it? If your answer remains yes despite opposition, then your belief grows even stronger. Doubt in this way becomes a test of authenticity. It filters out shallow desires and strengthens the goals that are truly meaningful to you. Believing when others doubt is also an act of leadership. True leaders are those who see possibilities that others cannot yet see. They believe in a better future, even when others are content with the present. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in equality at a time when racial segregation seemed permanent in America. His belief inspired millions, even though at first he faced criticism, hostility, and danger. Leaders across history have been visionaries who carried belief like a torch, lighting the way for others who could not yet imagine the same possibilities. Belief in the face of doubt is therefore not just about personal success. It is about lifting others, opening new doors, and showing that change is possible. On a more intimate scale, even in everyday life, believing when others doubt can transform relationships, careers, and personal growth. A student may face teachers or peers who tell them they are not smart enough to achieve certain goals. An athlete may be told their body is not fit enough, their skills not sharp enough. An entrepreneur may be told their business idea is unrealistic. In all these cases, if the person accepts those doubts, the dream dies before it even begins. But if they believe in themselves, they give their dream a chance to breathe. The simple act of believing creates momentum, and that momentum leads to action. Action brings results, and results silence doubt. The journey of belief is rarely smooth. You will encounter setbacks, failures, and moments of despair, where the voices of doubt feel louder than your own confidence. But those who continue despite these challenges eventually build an unshakable strength. They learn that belief is not about guaranteed success. It is about refusing to give up before you even try. It is about giving yourself permission to pursue what matters to you, regardless of whether others understand it or not. And more often than not, those who persist long enough find that the world eventually catches up to their vision. Belief also has a ripple effect. When you demonstrate confidence in your vision despite doubt, you inspire others to believe in themselves too. People watching your journey may realize that if you can persist despite challenges, so can they. In this way, your personal belief becomes a source of strength for a wider community. Many movements, companies, and artistic revolutions began with one person's stubborn belief in something new. That belief then spread to others, creating collective change. This shows that believing when others doubt is not selfish. It has the power to transform entire societies. Still, it is important to balance belief with humility. Believing in yourself should not mean shutting your ears to all advice. Sometimes doubt comes not from negativity but from love, from people trying to protect you from pain. In those cases, it is wise to listen, evaluate, and then make your own decision. True belief is not reckless stubbornness, it is thoughtful conviction. It means you have weighed the risks, acknowledged the challenges, but still decided that the pursuit is worth it. That kind of belief is not blind, it is enlightened courage. Ultimately, believing when others doubt is about living authentically. It means choosing your path, even if it is unpopular, because it aligns with who you are and what you value. It means respecting your inner voice more than the noise around you. It means knowing that history remembers not those who followed the crowd, but those who dared to walk their own road. When you believe in yourself in the face of doubt, you are not only pursuing your own goals, you are honoring the unique potential that life has given you. Belief is the bridge between vision and reality. Without it, doubt wins, dreams die, and progress halts. With it, even the most impossible, seeming goals become achievable. To believe when others doubt is to hold on to light in the midst of darkness, to trust that your efforts can create meaning, to persist when others quit. It is a reminder that while doubt is common, belief is rare, and it is precisely this rarity that makes it powerful. Every great achievement starts with someone who dared to believe when the world around them did not. If you can nurture that kind of belief within yourself, you can shape not just your destiny, but perhaps the destiny of others as well. Turning sacrifice into strength is one of the most profound transformations a person can undergo in life. Sacrifice, by its very nature, is difficult. It often means giving up something valuable, something comfortable, or something familiar in order to pursue a greater purpose. It can involve surrendering time, energy, wealth, pleasures, or even relationships for the sake of a dream, a responsibility, or a moral conviction. For many, sacrifice is seen as loss, but when approached with the right perspective, it becomes a powerful source of strength. It can fuel resilience, deepen character, and lead to growth that would not have been possible without that initial act of giving something up. The ability to transform sacrifice into strength is what distinguishes those who merely endure hardship from those who use hardship as a stepping stone to greatness. Sacrifice is at the root of all meaningful achievement. Consider the athlete who sacrifices hours of rest, leisure, and comfort in order to train rigorously. The pain of early mornings, intense workouts, and strict diets may seem harsh in the moment, but those sacrifices become the very foundation of the athlete's strength. The body becomes stronger, the mind becomes sharper, and the willpower becomes unshakable. What began as a loss of comfort becomes a gain in ability. The same applies to students who sacrifice immediate pleasures to study diligently. They give up time with friends or entertainment, but that very sacrifice strengthens their knowledge, broadens their opportunities, and equips them for a future of greater possibilities. These examples show that sacrifice is not wasted. It is transformed into strength when embraced with discipline and purpose. The process of turning sacrifice into strength also teaches patience. Sacrifice often requires us to endure periods where results are not immediately visible. For instance, someone saving money for a long-term goal must sacrifice impulsive purchases and instant gratification. In the moment, it can feel like deprivation, but over time, the habit of restraint builds financial discipline and mental resilience. Eventually, the accumulated savings provide security, independence, and freedom strengths that would never have been possible without those earlier sacrifices. Patience learned through sacrifice becomes a permanent strength, applicable not only to financial matters, but to every area of life where persistence is needed. Sacrifice also strengthens character by teaching us the value of priorities. In a world full of distractions, the act of giving something up for the sake of something greater forces us to clarify what truly matters. A parent may sacrifice personal ambitions to care for their child, and in doing so, they strengthen their capacity for love, responsibility, and selflessness. A soldier may sacrifice comfort and safety to protect their nation, and that sacrifice strengthens their sense of honor and courage. In each case, the act of giving up something lesser for something greater builds an inner strength that no comfort or convenience could ever provide. One of the most powerful aspects of sacrifice is that it connects us to a deeper sense of purpose. When we sacrifice willingly, it is usually for something we believe in deeply, a cause, a vision, or a value. That belief transforms the pain of sacrifice into a source of energy. Consider great leaders and reformers throughout history. Mahatma Gandhi sacrificed personal comfort, health, and even his freedom for the cause of India's independence. His sacrifices strengthened not only his own character, but also the resolve of millions who followed him. Nelson Mandela sacrificed decades of his life in prison, but those years of sacrifice became the foundation of his strength as a leader who could unite a divided nation. Their sacrifices became symbols of strength, not only for themselves, but for entire generations. It is important to note that sacrifice does not automatically create strength. It is how we respond to sacrifice that determines whether it weakens or strengthens us. If we view sacrifice only as loss, we may become bitter, resentful, or defeated. But if we choose to view sacrifice as investment, as a process of planting seeds for the future, then it becomes empowering. This mindset shift is what allows sacrifice to transform into strength. It is the same principle that applies when exercising muscles. The tearing down of fibers through effort feels painful, but that very tearing is what allows the muscle to rebuild stronger. Similarly, sacrifice may feel like tearing in the moment, but if endured with purpose, it becomes the ground on which strength grows. Turning sacrifice into strength also develops resilience in the face of adversity. Life is unpredictable, and challenges often demand that we give up things we value. Someone facing illness may have to sacrifice their former lifestyle, yet in doing so, they may develop mental toughness, gratitude, and perspective that they never had before. Someone who loses a job may have to sacrifice stability for a time, but that sacrifice may push them to learn new skills, pursue new opportunities, and eventually emerge stronger than they were before. Resilience is not built in times of comfort. It is forged in times of sacrifice, when we are pushed to adapt, endure, and rise again. Another dimension of sacrifice is its ability to create empathy and connection. When we sacrifice for others, we understand their struggles more deeply. A teacher who sacrifices personal time to help students gains the strength of compassion and patience. A volunteer who sacrifices comfort to serve the poor gains the strength of perspective and humility. These strengths are not material, but they enrich the soul and enable a person to impact others more profoundly. Sacrifice, therefore, does not just build individual strength. It strengthens bonds within families, communities, and societies. Sacrifice also teaches us discipline, which is perhaps one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. Discipline is the ability to control desires, to focus on what matters most, and to stay consistent even when motivation fades. Every act of sacrifice, no matter how small, is an act of discipline. Choosing to wake up early, to save money, to say no to temptations, all of these sacrifices slowly build the strength of self-control. Over time, discipline becomes a defining strength that opens the door to success in every area of life. Without sacrifice, discipline cannot be cultivated, and without discipline, lasting success is almost impossible. On a deeper level, sacrifice often reveals to us what we are truly capable of. Many people never discover their strength until they are required to sacrifice. Parents who never thought they could work so hard, sacrifice so much sleep, or endure so much stress discover that they can when it comes to caring for their children. Students who never thought they could push themselves to study for hours discover that they can when the sacrifice is tied to their dreams. In this sense, sacrifice becomes a mirror that reflects back to us the depth of our potential. It shows us that we are stronger, more resilient, and more capable than we once believed. Ultimately, turning sacrifice into strength is about perspective, resilience, and purpose. Sacrifice is inevitable in life. We cannot avoid it. But whether it drains us or empowers us depends on how we choose to frame it. If we embrace it as a path to growth, then every sacrifice we make, big or small, becomes an opportunity to build inner strength. Sacrifice is not the end of something, it is the beginning of transformation. It is the soil in which courage, discipline, and character grow. It is the furnace that refines us into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate human beings. Every great achievement, every meaningful relationship, and every personal victory is rooted in sacrifice. The sacrifices we make for our goals strengthen our resolve. The sacrifices we make for others strengthen our humanity. And the sacrifices life forces upon us strengthen our resilience. To turn sacrifice into strength is to accept that pain, loss, and struggle are not enemies but teachers. They are the unseen forces that shape us into who we are meant to become. If we learn to embrace sacrifice with the right spirit, we not only endure life's challenges, we rise above them stronger than we were before, and capable of creating a future brighter than the one we left behind. Pressure is a privilege because it represents opportunity, responsibility, and the chance to rise above limitations. When we feel pressure, it means that something important is at stake. It means that people believe in us enough to expect results, or that we have put ourselves in a position where the outcome truly matters. Many people avoid pressure because it feels uncomfortable. The heart races, the mind doubts, and fear whispers that failure is possible. But in truth, pressure is a sign of growth. It shows that we are moving beyond the ordinary, stepping into challenges that require more from us than ever before. Rather than fearing pressure, we can embrace it as a privilege that allows us to test our potential, develop resilience, and achieve at levels we never thought possible. When someone faces pressure, it is often because they have earned that position. An athlete standing on the final stage of a championship match feels immense pressure, but they are only there because of years of hard work and consistent performance. A student giving an important exam feels the weight of pressure because they have reached a stage where their future depends on their preparation. A leader making crucial decisions feels pressure because they are entrusted with guiding others. In each case, pressure is not a punishment. It is evidence of trust, ability, and responsibility. The privilege lies in the fact that not everyone gets to face those moments. Millions dream of reaching such situations, but only those who prepare and persist are granted the chance to carry that pressure. Pressure sharpens the mind and body. Just as a diamond is created under immense pressure, human beings develop their greatest strengths when challenged. Without pressure, there is no urgency to improve, no need to push limits, no reason to discover hidden abilities. A student studying without any deadline may procrastinate endlessly, but when the pressure of an exam arrives, they suddenly find focus and energy they did not know they possessed. Similarly, an employee given a tight deadline may initially feel overwhelmed, but the pressure often helps them discover efficient methods, sharper focus, and new levels of productivity. Pressure forces us to dig deeper into our reserves of talent and perseverance, and in doing so, it strengthens us. Pressure is also a privilege because it teaches resilience. Life is unpredictable, and challenges come whether we invite them or not. Those who learn to see pressure as a gift rather than a burden build the mental toughness needed to handle adversity. Every time we successfully endure pressure, we expand our capacity for the future. What once felt impossible becomes manageable. A young athlete who trembles during their first competition gradually learns to thrive under the spotlight. A professional who fears their first presentation eventually becomes confident speaking in front of thousands. Resilience is not built in comfort, it is forged under pressure. Those who run from it remain fragile, while those who embrace it grow unbreakable. The privilege of pressure also lies in its connection to purpose. We only feel pressure when we care deeply about something. Pressure does not arise from trivial matters. It comes when goals are meaningful, when stakes are high, and when our actions matter to us and to others. If an artist feels pressure before unveiling their work, it is because their creation is tied to their passion. If a parent feels pressure to provide for their family, it is because of love and responsibility. Seen in this way, pressure is proof of a life lived with meaning. To live without pressure may seem easy, but it also often means avoiding responsibility, avoiding risk, and avoiding growth. Pressure is the companion of significance. To feel it is to know that what you are doing truly matters. History is filled with individuals who treated pressure as a privilege and turned it into greatness. Athletes like Serena Williams have often spoken about how pressure reflects opportunity. Standing in a championship match is stressful, but it is also the dream of countless others who never made it there. Leaders like Winston Churchill faced the pressure of guiding nations through war, yet it was that very pressure that brought out speeches, decisions, and strategies that changed history. Scientists like Marie Curie worked under the immense pressure of skepticism, risk, and limited resources, yet the pressure drove discoveries that transformed medicine. These examples show that pressure is not something to run from. It is a privilege that opens the door to lasting impact. Pressure also elevates performance by demanding focus. Under normal circumstances, distractions can easily scatter our attention. But when pressure rises, the mind knows the importance of the moment and often directs energy more effectively. Many people discover that they perform their best under pressure, precisely because the urgency strips away hesitation and forces full commitment. A musician performing live cannot afford to think about mistakes. They must channel all energy into the present performance. A doctor in an emergency room cannot freeze under the weight of responsibility. They must act decisively. In both cases, pressure sharpens clarity, and that clarity allows people to reach a higher standard of performance than they might in low-stakes situations. There is also a privilege in realizing that pressure helps separate pretenders from performers. Anyone can act confident when the stakes are low, but true strength is revealed under pressure. It exposes weaknesses, but it also highlights genuine courage. In sports, business, or life, those who rise under pressure earn respect and admiration because they prove that their abilities extend beyond comfort zones. The world remembers those who performed when it mattered most, not when it was easy. To be given the chance to show who you are under pressure is therefore an honor, a stage where your preparation, talent, and courage are tested in ways that comfort could never reveal. At a personal level, treating pressure as privilege changes one's mindset completely. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" one begins to ask, "Why was I chosen for this responsibility?" That shift creates gratitude instead of fear. Gratitude reframes pressure as a chance to grow, to learn, to contribute. Imagine a young professional entrusted with a difficult project by their manager. At first, they may feel overwhelmed by the expectations, but if they remember that they were chosen for this responsibility because someone saw their potential, the pressure transforms into motivation. Gratitude for the privilege of being trusted turns nervousness into determination. Of course, pressure can be overwhelming if handled without balance. It is a privilege, but it requires preparation and perspective. Without preparation, pressure may crush instead of elevate. That is why consistent effort, training, and practice are essential. When someone prepares diligently, pressure becomes an opportunity to showcase what they have already mastered. Without preparation, it can expose unready foundations. The privilege of pressure is best enjoyed by those who take their responsibilities seriously and equip themselves for the challenges ahead. Another reason pressure is a privilege is that it connects us to others. Teams, families, and communities often share pressure together, and through this shared experience, bonds grow stronger. Soldiers in battle feel the ultimate pressure, yet that pressure creates unshakable brotherhoods. Athletes under pressure in team competitions learn to trust and depend on one another. Families under financial pressure often discover new depths of love and solidarity. The privilege here is not just personal growth, but the collective strength that emerges when people endure pressure side by side. In the long run, pressure is what shapes legacies. Few people are remembered for how they behaved when life was easy. Instead, history remembers how individuals acted under pressure, when the odds were stacked against them, when the weight of expectation seemed unbearable, when their response mattered most. Those who embrace pressure as privilege leave behind examples that inspire future generations. To treat pressure as a gift is to accept that the most demanding moments are also the most defining. Ultimately, pressure is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed. It is the privilege of responsibility, the privilege of opportunity, the privilege of mattering in a world where many live unnoticed and untested. Pressure means you are alive to the fullest extent, standing on the edge of your abilities, about to discover just how far you can go. Those who treat pressure as privilege live not with dread, but with anticipation, knowing that each moment of pressure is a chance to rise, to shine, and to grow stronger than they were before. Never being satisfied does not mean living in constant frustration or failing to appreciate what one has. Rather, it means cultivating a mindset of continuous growth, refusing to settle for mediocrity, and always striving to be better than yesterday. Satisfaction, when it turns into complacency, can paralyze progress. The moment someone decides they have done enough, learned enough, or achieved enough, they stop moving forward. On the other hand, when a person adopts the principle of never being satisfied, they ignite a fire within themselves to keep pushing boundaries, discovering new abilities, and achieving goals that once seemed out of reach. This mindset has fueled innovators, leaders, athletes, and ordinary individuals who accomplish extraordinary things. To never be satisfied is to recognize that life is a journey, not a final destination. No matter how much success one achieves, there is always more to learn, more to create, more to give, and more to improve. A student who achieves high marks can choose to celebrate and stop there, or they can realize that knowledge is infinite and keep seeking wisdom. An entrepreneur who builds a successful company may be tempted to rest, but the ones who continue innovating reshape entire industries. An athlete who wins a championship can retire into satisfaction, but the legends are those who hunger for more victories, not just for themselves, but for the history they leave behind. Satisfaction can breed stagnation, while the refusal to be satisfied breeds excellence. This principle does not diminish gratitude. Gratitude and satisfaction are not the same. Gratitude is the practice of appreciating what you have and recognizing the value of the present. Satisfaction, when mistaken as finality, is the belief that no further growth is needed. A person can be deeply grateful for their achievements, their health, their opportunities, while still refusing to be satisfied with their current state. Gratitude fuels the heart, dissatisfaction fuels progress. The harmony of these two creates a life that is both content and ambitious, grounded and ever-reaching. History provides countless examples of people who embodied the principle of never being satisfied. Think of Thomas Edison, who after inventing the light bulb did not stop, but went on to pioneer phonographs, motion pictures, and numerous other inventions. If he had been satisfied with a single success, the world would have lost countless innovations. Consider Michael Jordan, who after winning championships with the Chicago Bulls, never allowed himself to rest in the comfort of victory. He constantly trained harder, sharpened his skills, and maintained an insatiable hunger to remain the best. Or look at Elon Musk, who after creating PayPal did not stop there but moved on to revolutionize electric vehicles with Tesla, space travel with SpaceX, and energy solutions with SolarCity. These examples prove that dissatisfaction, when channeled productively, drives human progress forward. Never being satisfied also means rejecting the limits that others try to impose. Society often sets benchmarks and declares them to be enough. Graduating from college, getting a job, earning a certain income, buying a house. While these are milestones worth celebrating, they do not have to be the ceiling of one's potential. People who are never satisfied see milestones as stepping stones. They ask, "What's next?" This question does not arise from greed, but from a desire to expand horizons, to see how far one can truly go. The refusal to be satisfied keeps people from living small lives when they are capable of greatness. On a personal level, adopting this mindset builds resilience. When you are never satisfied, setbacks do not feel like the end of the road. Instead, they become lessons and fuel for improvement. For instance, a musician who fails at their first performance may feel humiliated, but if they refuse to be satisfied with failure, they practice harder, refine their art, and return stronger. A professional who does not get promoted despite years of effort can either give up or use the disappointment as motivation to sharpen their skills, expand their knowledge, and ultimately rise higher. Dissatisfaction breeds resilience because it creates the hunger to keep moving even when obstacles stand in the way. The principle of never being satisfied also has a moral and humanitarian dimension. Many of the greatest social changes in history came from people who were not satisfied with the status quo. Martin Luther King Jr. was not satisfied with segregation. Nelson Mandela was not satisfied with racial injustice in South Africa. Malala Yousafzai was not satisfied with the denial of education for girls. Their refusal to be satisfied with how things are fueled movements that changed the course of history. If they had accepted the world as it was, millions would still be suffering under oppression and inequality. Dissatisfaction, in this sense, is not selfish ambition, but a force for justice, fairness, and progress for all. In everyday life, never being satisfied is also the foundation of self-improvement. A writer who is not satisfied with their first draft will revise and edit until their work truly shines. A cook who is not satisfied with a recipe will experiment until it becomes extraordinary. A student who is not satisfied with average grades will put in the hours to master difficult subjects. In each case, dissatisfaction is the fuel that turns average into excellent, ordinary into extraordinary. The pursuit of mastery is only possible when one refuses to be satisfied with good enough. At the same time, never being satisfied is not about chasing endless material possessions. It is not about being greedy or restless. True dissatisfaction is not with external things, but with one's own potential. The person who is never satisfied asks, "Have I become all I can be? Have I used my talents fully? Have I given my best effort?" This type of dissatisfaction is noble, because it focuses not on accumulation, but on self-actualization. It asks us to grow into the best version of ourselves, to live up to the gifts and opportunities we have been given. Never being satisfied also keeps life exciting. Satisfaction can lead to monotony, where days blend together in routine. But dissatisfaction sparks curiosity and adventure. It makes us explore new places, learn new skills, meet new people, and attempt new challenges. The artist who tries new styles, the traveler who seeks new cultures, the scientist who explores new theories, all are driven by the refusal to be satisfied with what they already know. This restless curiosity keeps the human spirit alive, ensuring that life is not just endured, but explored to its fullest. Another important benefit of this mindset is that it creates legacy. People who are satisfied may live quietly, but people who are never satisfied leave behind contributions that endure. They write books that continue to inspire, build companies that change industries, make discoveries that save lives, and fight for causes that improve society. Their dissatisfaction ensures that their impact goes beyond their lifetime. They plant seeds whose fruits are enjoyed by generations to come. To never be satisfied is therefore not only a personal philosophy, but also a gift to the future. Of course, the refusal to be satisfied requires balance. Without gratitude, it can turn into endless restlessness, robbing a person of peace. But when paired with gratitude, it becomes a powerful formula, grateful for today, but hungry for tomorrow. This balance allows people to enjoy the present while still reaching for a greater future. It is not about rejecting what you have, but about respecting yourself enough to strive for what you are capable of becoming. In the end, never being satisfied is about honoring the human spirit's capacity for growth. It is about refusing to accept limitations, refusing to settle for mediocrity, and refusing to let comfort replace ambition. It is about becoming a lifelong learner, an endless dreamer, and a tireless doer. Life is short, and to settle into satisfaction too early is to waste the gift of potential. Those who are never satisfied understand that every day is an opportunity to grow, to give, to create, and to become. And in living this way, they not only reach higher levels of success and fulfillment, but also inspire others to do the same.